Year-old baby, just one of the victims of a mass shooting in a South Florida beach over the weekend. That shooter who killed 5 adults and injured 4 children has not yet been found. ABC's Rena Roy with how the shooting started and who police think did it.
The search intensifying for whoever is responsible for unleashing this chaos on Memorial Day. Surveillance video released by police shows people running for safety at the beachfront in Hollywood, Florida Monday when shots rang out.
I heard like pop, 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 like about 6, 7 shots. Everybody started running.
Everyone was praying, like it was terrifying.
The gunfire breaking out around 6:30 in the evening as beachgoers were enjoying the holiday.
We received a call of multiple people shot. When officers arrived on scene, there were 9 victims with gunshot wounds.
5 adults and 4 children were shot, including a 1-year-old. You can see police and Good Samaritans treating victims, all of them in stable condition. An eyewitness says he saw several young men fighting in front of the stores lining the boardwalk when one pulled out a gun and started shooting. The suspected gunman seen in this surveillance picture wearing a yellow sweatshirt.
Preliminary investigation reveals that there was an altercation between 2 groups that resulted in gunfire. Right now, we do have 1 person of interest detained, and right now we're also searching for an additional suspect.
This was the 262nd mass shooting this year alone, according to the Gun Violence Archive. And in Chicago this weekend, police say at least 47 people were shot in different incidents, 9 of them fatally. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The teen accused of crashing a U-Haul truck near the White House is asking for the court to delay his hearing. Sai Versheth Kandula's detention hearing was set for today. However, his attorney filed a motion to reschedule it for Friday. Kandula's lawyer is asking for more time to prepare release plan proposal. Prosecutors argue the 19-year-old is not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident and could be a serious flight risk. Kandula is facing a charge of depredation of property of the United States in excess of $1,000. This after officials say he crashed a U-Haul truck into a security barrier near the White House last week. The judge has not weighed in on the requested extension yet.
Researchers may have unlocked the brain abnormality that causes babies to die in their sleep. It's called sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, and it is the leading cause of death for babies in their first year of life. The cause is a bit of a mystery, and a research team thinks it may have found the key. A team studied 58 babies who had died of SIDS. They compared them to a control group of babies whose causes of deaths were known. They found an abnormality in the brain receptor of the SIDS babies, a part of the brain that causes us to wake up and gasp when we're low on oxygen. That abnormality could interfere with that kickstart, causing those babies to continue to sleep and eventually stop breathing.
There is growing evidence that building muscle strength is good for your heart. It could even lead to better outcomes for people who have heart attacks. Researchers in Japan studied quad muscles, the front of the upper thighs, in more than 900 older patients who were hospitalized because of a heart attack. They found the risk of another heart attack was more than double for those who had weak quads than patients who had strong quad muscles. The findings have not yet been published, but were presented at the European Society of Cardiology's meeting this month. In a similar study back in 2016, the same researchers found that muscle mass in your upper arms could be associated with rates of surviving heart disease.
You don't have to drink alcohol to suffer liver disease. It's estimated that 1/4 of all adults in the U.S. have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is an illness where excess fat builds up in the liver. Many people don't even know they have it, but CNN's Mandy Gaither has who is at risk, including a lot of San Antonians, and how you can find out if you're one of them.
It can affect anyone of any age, including children. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is common but silent. Many don't know they have it. The more severe form of the disease can cause major health problems.
These patients are at increased risk of developing cancer. They're also increased risk of progressing to cirrhosis and even require a liver transplant to be able to treat this.
Dr. Blanca Liziola Mayo with Mayo Clinic says this disease is more common in those who are obese, and people who have metabolic syndrome are at increased risk. That means the patient has 3 or more medical problems linked to obesity, like high blood pressure, high blood sugar levels, or high triglycerides.
I think the most important thing to remember about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or NAFLD is that it's reversible.
Which is why early detection is key. Mayo says those with 2 or more risk factors should be screened. The condition tends to run in families, and Hispanic Americans are disproportionately affected. She says the disease is also showing up in a growing number of children. Treatment includes being healthier.
I see it as a team approach where all the family needs to really work on this in lifestyle modifications and making sure that we follow a healthy diet and remain as active as possible.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Mayo Clinic says patients often ask about supplements to cleanse the liver, but it is not recommending any of them. Only the liver can cleanse itself, and there is some research that those who drink black caffeinated coffee at a moderate level get some benefit.
It's always coffee. Got to drink coffee.
Coffee's good. Coffee's bad.
I had my black coffee this morning.
All right.
That's
That's
why you're
how I
all
take my coffee.
wide-eyed and ready to go, huh?
Yeah, you gotta be working these morning shifts. You gotta be ready to go. If the storms last night didn't wake you up, maybe this forecast, this nicer forecast will. Take a look outside right now with live cam. It is a warm and humid day all across the Alamo City. 81 at the airport, 83 at Stinson, 81 at Kelly, and 82 at JBSA Randolph near Converse. So low 80s right now, but this is a look at the forecast highs for the afternoon. It'll be near 88 in San Antonio, 87 in Hondo, 91 in Del Rio, 91 in Eagle Pass, and 91 in Cotulla. A little bit closer around the Alamo City, 84 in Bulverde, 87 in Hondo, 86 in Canyon Lake. We're going to see more of the same today, but coming up, I do have a look at our forecast over the next several days and a look at how much rain has fallen over May. It was a pretty rainy month. Those details for you in a few. Ursula.
Thank you, Sarah. A new movie is hoping to lure in some large audiences by tapping into a bit of nostalgia, offering something new and something old. How the music in The Little Mermaid remake mixes both.
And rough seas turned a vacation into a nightmare. How passengers are describing the trip and what the cruise line is saying about it this noon.
A very rocky ending to a Carnival cruise when it was hit by rough seas for more than 10 hours straight. My worst nightmare. The ship was returning to Charleston, South Carolina. I could see just looking at this.
I was going to say, hold it in. ABC's Stephanie Ramos with how the scared passengers had to ride it out on their own. That did not
The terrifying moments on the high seas.
Pitching, diving, rocking, rolling. It was 11 straight hours of pure hell.
The Carnival Sunshine Cruise sailing into rough waters during a storm on the last night of its voyage from the Bahamas to Charleston Saturday. Water streaming into cabins, damaging hallways and this gift shop.
The winds sounded like a wind tunnel.
49-year-old passenger Sharon Tutron and her mom Rosemary were on board celebrating. Sharon recently finished chemo and radiation for breast cancer. They rode out the storm inside their cabin on the 11th floor.
I thought we were going to capsize. It was absolutely terrifying.
Not reassuring us.
Passenger Daniel Taylor says he was frustrated with the lack of communication from the crew.
After the weather got really bad, nobody reached out. There was silence over the intercom system.
But a Carnival spokesperson said that they made several announcements about the weather and the delay it caused in returning to Charleston, asking guests to use extra precaution. Some of the worst weather occurred in the overnight hours when announcements are not typically made, but guests and crew were safe.
Authorities say just some guests and crew needed minor medical attention. The ship left the next day with new passengers off to another cruise. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, New York.
A new study says our old cars are sticking around longer. S&P Global Mobility says 12.5 years is the average age of the cars on the road these days. The study shows it's one of the fastest increases we've seen since the Great Recession back in 2008. COVID, the economy, and vehicle durability are some of the contributing factors. on why we're still holding on to our older cars and the trend might be sticking around.
In 2028, we expect that there's going to be over 122 million vehicles over that 12 years of age, which is about 40% of our vehicle fleet that will sit beyond 12 years of age.
Well, Mechanic says his business has more than doubled in recent years. He says anyone who wants to keep their investment in good shape should keep up to date with routine maintenance.
If Memorial Day weekend is any indication, summer is going to be a really busy travel season. The Transportation Security Administration says more than 12 million people were screened beginning on Thursday. That surpasses the pre-pandemic 2029 numbers by about 180,000 passengers. The busiest day, Friday, with nearly 3 million travelers.
Apparently the weather was pretty good all over the country because we didn't hear a lot of stuff about cancellations or delays, or was I just not paying attention?
I was having too much fun.
Yeah, and for the most part, you know, the weather was okay over Memorial Day weekend, with the exception of yesterday, right in the afternoon. That's when we saw some storms move through. There's no change, though, in the aquifer level, but we're really feeling it when we look at the molds today. Very high in the pollen count, past 18,000. Mold's the reason for your wheezing and sneezing. Pigweed, however, is low. Hopefully we'll be able to see that mold number go down because we don't really expect decent rain chances until this upcoming weekend. I've got those details in a few.
So far, we've had a pretty good year of rain. I like this pattern.
Did you get rain yesterday?
No.
It
was down the street, but it wasn't.
Right.
I know, it was just down the street from me, too.
Areas east of 281 kind of struggled to get the good, decent rain yesterday, but west of 281, we saw widespread 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. I want to start this forecast by showing you how much we've improved for the month of May. This is a look at the drought monitor at the beginning of May, on May 2nd. That's when this drought monitor was issued. Notice how widespread that exceptional and extreme drought is, the red colors there. Well, here's the most recent drought monitor with a look at the rainfall. Notice how all of that red really shrunk to parts of the hill country here. Still Kerrville and Bernie in exceptional drought, but this does not include yesterday's rain, so it'll be interesting to see if we can see that drought improve even more. We've also seen an elimination of extreme drought for many areas southwest of San Antonio, a complete elimination of the drought southeast of San Antonio, and the numbers you see here on the screen are how much rain has fallen in the month of May. San Antonio International Airport just shy of 4 inches, a little bit more than 4 inches of rain in Bernie, more than 5 inches, 5.5 inches in Kerrville, more than 5.5 in Pearsall. 5 inches of rain fell in Del Rio, and a whopping 9.5 inches of rain fell in Kennedy and Karnes County. Those areas southeast of San Antonio, no drought remaining. Right now outside it is sunny and warm. It's 81 degrees and winds are calm or light and variable, but they're calm right now around San Antonio, and it is very humid. You can actually see the haze on the horizon there. And as we look at the clouds and the temperature, you can see that puffy cumulus clouds are really starting to develop, and so we'll have those clouds with us throughout the afternoon. 82 in Helotes, 80 in Bandera, 85 in New Braunfels, and 77 in Comfort. For the remainder of the day, we'll be looking at a high in the upper 80s around San Antonio, right near 87. Sun's going to set at 8:30, and it'll be a mild evening with temperatures in the low 70s tonight, with southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. In the satellite radar, there's a few thunderstorms along the coast, but generally the weather is fairly quiet around Texas. That's because a ridge of high pressure is settling over. High means dry. High creates sinking air. It prevents showers and storms from developing in the vertical, and that high is going to settle over in the coming days. However, on its heels is a low pressure system over the LA area, and that is going to bring us a chance for some showers and storms over the weekend. So taking you through the future cast, high pressure remains dominant for the remainder of the week. Then with this low spinning over the Four Corners region through parts of Saturday, especially in the late evening, and then again on Sunday, that's when we could see some of these showers and storms develop. Right now, coverage only looks to be about 30%, but it is still something I'm going to be keeping my eye on as we refine that that forecast, continue to check in with us here at KSAT. We'll have more updates for you on the weather app as well. As for tomorrow, waking up and cloudy at 67 degrees, 81 at noon, mostly sunny, so those morning clouds are quickly going to give way to sunshine. 88 for the high, southeast winds at 5 to 10. We'll pretty much copy and paste that forecast for the remainder of the work week, but it is over the weekend and particularly on Sunday that we're eyeing our next chance for showers and storms as we end May and start the month of June, which typically is fairly rainy for us. We'll have more news for you after the break.
You remember Ursula, the evil witch? Well, there's a new version of The Little Mermaid. She's still evil, by the way. Ooh. It made a splash at the box office over the weekend. The live-action CGI remake went all the way to #1.
The musical features familiar as well as new songs. CNN's Rick Damigella with how the cast of the new live-action version approached recording them.
I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now.
The cast of Disney's reimagining of The Little Mermaid knew just how important their performances would be, especially when it came to the film's iconic songs.
I think finding that balance was very important to me because I consider myself a singer, a musician first, and I really just want to honor the art that was there, that was done before us. So the work of Alan Menken, who's a legend, is just so beautiful, and the fact that we had his stamp of approval and him guiding us through these songs as well as the new songs was amazing for me.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake.
The nice thing about working on songs is very different than listening to songs. And so even though I still knew these songs from when I was a kid, I gained a whole new appreciation for how really great those songs are.
Kissed a girl, sha-la-la-la-la-la, float on and listen to this song say kissed a girl.
It was always on replay in my house, just because I don't remember the first time watching it, just because I was so young when I was showed it. So I don't remember not knowing these songs.
Why don't you kiss the girl? Come on and kiss the girl.
Go on and kiss the girl.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
There was no Ursula in any of those clips, was there?
I don't know. I'm going to have to watch the movie now to see if they brought her back.
Summer fun, grilling steaks, and circus tricks, even a runaway tortoise.
It's all in today's encore episode of SA Live. Hey, Mike.
Well, we have got so much on today's show. Fiona is getting ready to run away with the circus, something like that, because Aqua Acro brings the circus to Market Square, and Jen and Fiona are actually going to try out some of these circus tricks. I always knew she was going to be a circus performer. Easy pork sliders with mom and cookbook author Meg Dow, creator of More Mama, nothing like easy recipes for dinner. Piggy Bakery whips up some very easy treats for our nation's birthday that you'll want to make all summer long. Oh, I love these great summer dishes. Hey, you getting ready to throw a steak on the grill? Who doesn't love a good grilled steak? We have some tips from Seguin pitmaster and cookbook author Adrian Davila. Up close and personal with reptiles and birds. Fletcher Reptile and Bird Rescue is going to be here. And a couple of young gentlemen, these Solis brothers, are going to be performing for us. Boy, are they talented. Mom and Dad are going to be very proud. That and a whole lot more coming up on SA Live. So stick around.